Cafe episode number 14, I think it is. Yeah, 14, we'll roll with that. If you hadn't already noticed from the intro, Ragin isn't here tonight. He has a family emergency, so we send our best wishes to him. We hope that everything's alright, but he can't be here right now anyway. Cinnamon is late. He didn't give us a reason or anything for it, so you know you can send your hate mail to us, steampunkscootaloo.tumblr.com. Let him know your thoughts right there. And Nick is spending Christmas with his sister because she is going away somewhere, I don't know. I'm not very good at listening to him, but he's spending early Christmas with her, so I'm the only one here. Feel free to click off the stream right now, I wouldn't blame you. Little X in the top right hand corner, go for it. But in the case that you do want to stay, we have Eric and Nicole from Journey of the Spark movie. How are you guys?
I'm doing good.
Nicole, would you like to go first?
Well, yeah. I'm Nicole Bono. I'm executive producer of Journey of the Spark. And that's it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I am Eric Radenauer. I'm the writer, director, and producer behind Journey of the Spark.
That is awesome.
He has 2 more titles than me.
Yeah,
That's all right.
that's true.
Feel free to add more. So, I'm not. Have you guys see the episode yet? Wonderbolt Academy?
Oh yeah.
I cheated. I watched the leak version of that before it actually aired today.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm right with you on that one.
Thursday. Yet I watched it on my TV today because I have privileges other bronies don't.
Oh.
Yeah, so I watched the leaked version. Surprisingly, the leaked version came out on the my final day of school, so for college, so for the semester anyway. So that was a huge delight to come home to. Oh, new pony episode!
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know. I was just minding my own business. I'm already on holidays because in Australia it's our summer right now, so we're on holidays. But I was just minding my own business, and then all of a sudden I get a link in one of the groups I'm in. New episode leaked. I was stoked to have that. That was awesome, and I cheated as well. I watched it another time, and I watched it like a third time. And then me and 2 other guys who are editors decided to make a PMV on it. So we got that out before the actual episode even aired, which was pretty good for us. We're pretty proud of that.
Yeah, I was I loved this episode. It's one of my it would be in my top 10 out of the entire series. I really like this one. And that's really saying a lot because I haven't really had like a favorite episode like that from the series in a while. Mainly just because when it comes to ponies, I'm fairly opinionated on my opinions on some of the episodes, to say the least. That could be taken as a good or bad thing, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, I liked it. It was really good. To hear. I mean, Rainbow Dash sounded good for once. I mean, I posted this comment on EKD, and people were like, a couple of Rainbow Dash fans like just attacked me for it. But I said in the comment that Rainbow Dash, this was the first time that Rainbow Dash actually looked good in the season. And I guess that was kind of a slightly harsh generalization, but I mean, she hasn't been written much into the side of the episodes as well the other characters have. I mean, you've seen Rarity's had some pretty funny sidelines throughout the show. Fluttershy was really funny in Magic Duel. Applejack has had a few funny sidelines, and none of them have had an episode centered around them, and they've just been, in my opinion anyway, a lot funnier and a lot more entertaining than Rainbow Dash. But I mean, the writers just haven't written her as much, I thought. But in this episode, she got an episode, and she wasn't egotistical much at all, apart from at the start when she said she wasn't nervous. That was about the most egotistical she got, and it was a really well done episode. I mean, the only gripe I have with it is the ending. I mean, it just personally,
I think the thing that ultimately I think didn't necessarily really make it for me, or it would have been a much higher, like, on my list of my favorite episodes, but Pinky's behavior in the episode kind of got a little grating on me personally. I didn't really think it kind of got a little annoying to me. It was funny in some cases, but I think they went a little too over the top with Pinky's behavior in the episode. But beyond that, I think it was pretty good, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, Pinkie Pie was like she
He's
she
Pinkie
was
Pie.
a bit, yeah, she was a bit annoying. I mean, my favorite part of the episode was when she started talking about her problems with the care package to Applejack, and Applejack actually breaks the fourth wall and basically looks directly to the viewer with this unamused look, like, this is the shit you have to deal with, really. You enjoy this.
Yeah,
Oh, wow,
little details
Jack.
like that. Little details like that actually kind of make me chuckle, like, every now and then.
Yeah. So, like as I said, the ending was... My problem was it was the most inconclusive ending that has been given to Rainbow Dash's Wonderbolt saga so far. At the end of Sonic Rainbow, I mean, she flew away with them, and you'd assume that they hung out for the rest of the day, or a day or two later. But that was about it. It was never really mentioned again, apart from at the gala. But this time, she was literally in the academy that trains her for the Wonderbolts, and she didn't suddenly become worse. She was still the best there. So I really hope they follow that up in some... I really hope they follow that up in some way.
You know, like, oftentimes, oftentimes when I look at this episode, I kind of like... I didn't have as big of a problem with the ending, mainly because of the fact that I saw it coming. You know, it's like when you write for these types of stories and various different things, because I am a writer. You know, I mean, I write for film. And, you know, oftentimes you kind of see those tropes sort of come by you, and then it's like you know, I knew that, well, for me, one of the most interesting things was the fact that, you know, I thought it was really surprising the fact that Rainbow Dash actually turned down wanted to be a Wonderbolt for that period, because of the fact that she cared more about her friends rather than her actual dream. And I thought that was actually handled really well. And of course, I knew in the end, yeah, she's not literally going to leave the Wonderbolts. I mean, you know, you kind of just can't really do that. I mean, at least in terms of her character, because, you know, that's essentially a part of Rainbow Dash in that sense, is her dream to become a Wonderbolt. And, you know, as the audience, you want to actually see Rainbow Dash actually succeed in that forefront. So it's like, I think the way they handled it was fairly well done. Sure, it might come off as really abruptive and, like, really cliched to some people, but from a writing standpoint, I thought it made the most sense to do it that way. Almost kind of like in the style of like, the whole episode made me think of Top Gun. Like, that's what it made me think of, like one of those, you know, cheesy things like that, you know. That's what it made me think of anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. Nicole, your thoughts on the episode?
Well, I thought it was a good episode. I liked a lot of the writing and the gags they had with it. But you know what? This is just mainly like a little issue I have with the season. You can imagine how desperate Celestia is for getting mail, because no one has sent her a letter at all.
Oh yeah, she's just like waiting by the mailbox. She's got a beard. She's just sitting there. There's like a spider crawling down her face. It's got a cobweb.
Like Pinky in this episode. Pinky waiting by the mailbox. That was just Celestia, but for 7 more episodes.
I'm sure it's a lot more depressing with Celestia too. But yeah, they haven't sent a letter in a while. Did they even... Oh, now I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the last possible letter they sent. They haven't sent one this season. Obviously, they didn't send one for the Candlelight Wedding. Celestia sent a letter to them.
Yeah, I think it was Mystery on the Friendship Express.
Yeah, that would have been it. Celestia broke the chain. She sent a letter to them and then never got one back.
Like, you broke the system, and
Yeah.
this is it.
Oh, pathetic, like all government. But... yeah, I won't get into government. I won't attack politics. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good episode. It had a couple of problems here and there, but nothing major. The ending was the only real problem I had to that, but, you know, I don't know anything about writing, pretty much. The most storytelling I've ever done is in a PMV, and... I mean, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good episode. Like, give it like a 7.5 out of 10, 8 maybe.
Yeah, I'd say 8.
Yeah, and we have just been joined by Cinnamon Top.
Yay.
Hello, Cinnamon.
Hey guys, sorry about a little bit late. It's been having
Man, 15
trouble.
minutes. It could have been worse. You could have gotten here an hour into the whole thing. So
Maybe
There
at
was
the most
times where
awkward
I-
time.
It's like everybody would be mid-conversation. I would just interrupt. Hey.
Yeah,
How
we
you
actually
doing?
didn't interrupt because we were about to wrap up our episode discussion, but you're here, so what were your thoughts on the episode, Cinnamon? Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. So I'm very lucky that
Oh,
that I came.
alright,
late.
you missed
Just
the
in
discussion.
time.
Lucky you, no spoilers.
no.
Yes.
I will say this right now. As Nicole was talking about her opinion of the episode, my mom actually called me to go get something from downstairs, so I went on mute. And as you guys were discussing, I ran as fast as I could all the way downstairs to get what she needed and back up here in at least like about a minute. So, because I kept thinking for some odd reason, it's like, oh my god, I'm in the middle of an interview. You know, they're going to wonder where I am. I got to get up here as fast as I can. I was rushing.
Well,
And I
Eric
got
is
here
Superman.
just in time, so...
you are Superman.
Yeah,
Yes, I am Superman.
zippy zippy
You are
zip.
if you choose to be.
Man, Superman sucks. Nah, Goku's supreme, but... Yeah.
I take it that you're looking forward to that death battle.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Superman and Goku, have you guys seen the Man of Steel trailer?
Oh, yeah, I saw the, I saw that recently. That looks great.
I agree, and the Man of Steel trailer is pretty much what I've heard is it's setting up the Justice League movie, which,
Really?
God, I hope that. Well, I mean, they've pretty much. I mean, plenty of them still need a movie. Wonder Woman still needs a movie. That guy with like the
already
green
has,
skin still needs a movie.
That
Not-
guy with the green skin.
Not the Green
Modern
Lantern.
Martian.
I forgot his
That
name.
can be a
Martian,
thought.
Yeah,
Modern Martian. That's his name.
that's his
and
name. Okay.
Then there's Hawkman, and sometimes Hawkgirl, and I think Flash needs a movie too.
Plenty of
And
them need a movie, but
Flash.
apparently I don't think they're gonna bother. It's just.
really,
It's going to be
Yeah.
the Man of Steel, then it's going to be the Justice League. And
No, for me, I want them, for me, this is me personally because my favorite DC superhero is Green Lantern, and I want them to make a much better Green Lantern movie.
yeah, I didn't like
Personally.
the Green Lantern. movie.
yeah,
That-
pretty average.
That's a shame because it's directed by somebody who's made, you know, some pretty good movies. Being a James Bond fan like myself, he directed GoldenEye and Casino Royale, so he's perfectly capable with directing action and drama. So it's like, what happened there? I'm assuming it was mainly just a relatively poorly written script. I think that's what bogged down Green Lantern, that movie anyway. But I won't go into details about that because I'm a total nerd when it comes to Green Lantern. Well,
I'm a total
geek.
nerd when it comes. I don't want to start fights here, but I'm a total nerd when it comes to Marvel.
No,
So you love the
I'm more
Avengers?
of the Marvel person myself. Iron Man is my favorite Marvel superhero.
Yes.
I love the Iron Man
Yes.
series.
Yes.
Tony Stark is, for all intents and purposes, he is legally Iron Man.
Oh yeah, Tony
Yep.
Stark is Tony Stark is the coolest man in cinema currently. Like,
He is beautiful.
So
there
I'm
is
sorry,
no
not
actor
Tony
that is
Stark.
cooler.
It's actually Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. actually bought the rights for Iron Man, so and that was part of a contract, so he can do more movies of Iron Man. Because
Wait, so he literally is
yeah,
Iron
he
Man?
literally owns the right of Iron Man, so he is Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Downey Jr.
And that
bought
just
the
shows how
rights.
dedicated. That just shows how dedicated. That just shows how dedicated some actors are to their craft. Like when it comes to a character, that's amazing.
I know. I heard the news, and it was like, I don't know how many millions they have to he has to like but it was actually the thing is that he's kind of that actor that he doesn't like playing the same character a lot, and he kind of like doesn't feel that he should continue the character when he feels like he's done with it, and he goes, he moves on. But apparently they send them, okay, the producers, I think it was who does it, Columbia? Yeah, Columbia Pictures actually gave him a deal that he would continue to do more Iron Man movies. That would include the Avengers
Paramount.
and Iron Man. Paramount. That was before the Avengers, or during the production of the Avengers. And they say they wanted a third Iron Man plus the Avengers, and he was like, no, you gotta sell me. And they gave him the rights. I don't know how they did it, but they gave him the rights.
He gets whatever
He's
he
Robert Downey
wants.
Jr. Yeah.
Well, that's one way to do it.
Definitely.
But yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is probably the coolest actor out right now. Well, definitely the coolest actor right now. It went... It was probably Pierce Brosnan, I'd say. Pierce Brosnan or Sean Connery. Then there was a little gap. Nobody was really cool. Everyone was badass, but nobody was cool. And then we had Christopher Walken. I reckon he was the coolest guy ever.
Also, we can also
Walken.
put Charles. We can put Charles Bronson there. He was like a badass back in the day.
Back in the day, definitely. Put your hands in the air. No, I have a gun. I don't care. Such a
Yeah.
king.
Then we got like, for badasses, we got Clint Eastwood, and then we got like Danny Trejo.
Brad Pitt.
Danny Trejo actually did a movie called Badass. The title was Badass.
Exactly.
I think we're going really far from the topic.
We are. I just felt like talking about that movie for a sec.
Sure.
No, I mean, I find this fascinating because, hey, I'm a movie director, so I'm a movie fanatic in the simplest phrase of the term, to say the least. Nicole can vouch for me on that. I think.
Yes, I've known Eric for like 12 months now, and like a lot of the time he's just going off about a movie he likes, or like, yeah, that's him.
Exactly. Well, I reckon it's time to start the interview. We've had our little episode discussion. We'll discuss more stuff later, but it's time for the interview. So, for our listeners who don't know what Journey of the Spark is, can you tell us what it's about?
Sure. Journey of the Spark is a 2-hour and 15-minute animated epic based on My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. It's taking inspiration from the first 2 seasons of the show, but it's a completely new, original story, mainly a story meant to stand out on its own rather than a piece of fan work. It's a musical, and it features 8 original songs written by Brony musician Forrest Rain. And it's kind of like, I think the best way to describe it is that it's very much an envisioning of what a series finale for My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic would be. So because of the fact that we're kind of depicting, what I would think the show would end on, it's a very epic in scale, in scope. It's much darker than the original show. And it features an all-star cast from many different people in the community, including things such as Fighting is Magic, the Dot Mob series, Friendship is Witchcraft, and many other different voice actors from countless different pieces of media from the Brony fandom, along with newcomers as well, coming together to create an animated epic based on the show. So that's what Journey of the Spark is, for those who don't know.
Well, that sounds awesome. It sounds really, really, really awesome. So in terms of going dark, what do you think you would rate the show? As in, what you would rate the movie as in, well, like PG-13 or?
It's PG. It's not grim dark, but it's PG. It does have a bit of frightening images here and there. There is there's quite a bit of action. It's an adventure story, very much in the style of how Lauren Faust wanted to do the show originally, but couldn't because of creative differences with Hasbro. So the movie's main goal is to essentially tell a very emotionally resonant story that is more along the lines of what Lauren wanted to do originally but never could, in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, she was never gonna. Unfortunately for Lauren, I mean, she was just about never gonna get My Little Pony to say the kind of epic sort of dark story that, say, Transformers is at. Because if Hasbro wanted to go for an epic dark story, then they'd look for they'd get someone to write for Transformers, because My Little Pony is their happy, safe thing they want for the little girls. I mean, regardless, it's marketed towards little girls. If they want to go for something epic and dark, they can go to Transformers, which, thank God for the Brony fandom, we can go to our fandom for slightly darker, more serious things.
Yeah, there's always an alternative. But I think Lauren Faust's original vision of the My Little Pony was kind of unfortunately just disrupted, and little details like originally Celestia was supposed to be a queen, not a princess, and certain subjects like death and other dark subjects were kind of like a no for the original show. But I guess in terms of dark, I would say that there's the possibility of danger and the possibility that someone could, get killed, and having the sense of having a sense of a world filled with vague and what is vague and what is uncertain. Those types of elements really create that dark atmosphere.
Yeah, and I can agree on that forefront. Sorry.
It's cool.
That's really all I had to say on that one. So.
Yeah. I mean,
Nicole, do you have anything to add?
Not really. Pretty much summed it up, like you have for every other past interview you've been in.
So, I mean, this kind of leads on from your other question, but what was the inspiration that provoked the start of Jane the Spark? Like, what really kickstarted and made you say, I'm gonna make a movie?
Well, see, I brought Nicole in here because Nicole and I, we've been friends for a while, and what happened was that the movie originally was going to be based on a comedy series that I was doing on a parody show called My Little Pony: The Brony Edition, and originally it started out life as an audio drama with our versions of the characters, essentially, basically the concept of it was that Twilight causes some sort of calamity that forces everybody to basically turn their backs on her and completely hate her, including both Celestia and Luna. And so essentially Twilight runs away, and the rest of the main six, Luna and Spike, they have to go on this incredible journey beyond the reaches of Equestria to find Twilight and bring her back. And that was the initial concept. And at the time, Nicole was an affiliate with my series. She wasn't working on the show, but she was a friend of mine, and she was promoting a lot of my stuff. And initially, people were really interested in the story, and we got one guy who was an associate producer and the assistant director on the film, Jan Engel. He was basically like, "Oh yeah, this story sounds cool. We want to do some animation. Will you hire me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And eventually, that just sort of led to this very small team wanting to bring the story to life. And eventually, Nicole was very attached to the project that I initially stated, I want you to be the executive producer and help me produce this thing. And that eventually it just spiraled out of control, and it it just the story was becoming so big. I initially told myself I don't want to make this an audio drama anymore. I want to make this a movie because I feel it's a story that needs to be told.
Definitely. For quick clarification, when you say Jan, is that the Ask the Crusaders Jan?
No.
it's not?
He goes by the name of Mr. JJKB on many different places. No, it's not the same Jan.
Alright. Yeah, okay, sweet. Just clarifying. Alright, so when you were writing the script, did you follow any sort of process? I mean, you say that you sound pretty professional when you talk about script writing and everything, so do you have any sort of particular process that you've learnt over time? Or do you just sort of roll with it as you went?
I really don't have a process when it comes to writing. I think what it is just that I knew, like, straight from the get-go, since the movie is supposed to be an envisioning of the series finale of the entire show, I basically kept telling myself, how is the story of Friendship is Magic going to end? And initially, I pretty much had the ending already planned out from the get-go, and I basically just what I kept doing was that I just kept coming up with ideas, and I started coming up with more ideas with the cast and crew, and eventually things just sort of fell into place. There wasn't really a full process for it initially. There wasn't necessarily, oh yeah, this is the way that I want to write it. I just knew that I just knew that, yeah, this is basically the story I want to tell. This is what I think should be done with it, and I just went with it pretty much.
Very cool. So, have any other movies or fan animated works, maybe fan fictions, played a part in the development of Journey of the Spark?
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Nicole can basically testify for me on this one. There's way too many things that inspired the story for this movie, and just this movie as a whole. Like there is a ton of things that inspired it, but my biggest source of inspiration was the classic films of Walt Disney and Don Bluth. I've always been a fan of classic animation, mainly because I love much more gothic and darker stories with a lot of emotional resonance to them. I like one of the key films that Journey of the Spark takes a lot of inspiration from is The Secret of Nim and Pinocchio and Fantasia and An American Tail and The Land Before Time, and all of those movies played like a really huge part in me developing, essentially the tone that I wanted to take with the film. And all of Lauren's original ideas, Lauren's vision was very much one of the biggest, inspirations for Journey of the Spark. I often found myself going back and watching countless episodes from season 1 as well as a few from season 2 over and over again to kind of get a really good idea of what I wanted to do with the characters and where I wanted to go with them in that sense. There's countless sources of inspiration. I can't name all of them. Like I said, Nicole probably knows just about as many of them as I do.
Yeah, a lot
I keep
of them.
forgetting.
So you say that. Oh, sorry, Nicole. You say.
Nah, yeah, I just had to say, I just came back. I had to take an Advil really quickly.
No problems. So you say that they influenced how you wrote the script and your idea for the story a lot, but how about in sort of production right now? Have you looked at, say, the production for Double Rain Boom or I've forgotten the name of the other fan-made project. Have you looked at the production for that and taken ideas or used that as a sort of guideline to how you're making yours?
Being straight up, absolutely not. Because ultimately, I have a completely different way of organizing and running my own production. And initially, oftentimes, I don't want to take inspiration from other people's projects because if I happen to reference those things in my scripts or in my own projects, people will ultimately think that I'm ripping them off or that I'm uninspired because I'm taking, ideas from other people. And so, I've always been very, discreet about what I get inspiration from. I don't get inspiration from other people's projects mainly because I like my work standing out on their own in that sense. And it's funny too because we have people from Double Rainboom working on Journey of the Spark, so they're kind of connected to each other in some way, shape, or form. Like, often, I'm friends with Zachary Rich, the director of Double Rainboom, so we've talked to each other, a few times before in the past, and he's talked with he's good friends with the producer of the movie, Edward Marmot. So both projects are kind of connected with each other. I think the other project you're talking about is Children of the Night. Is that the one that I'm thinking of? Children of the Night. Man, there's way too many. There's way too many to name. But no, I wouldn't say that I've taken inspiration from other people's projects in the community, mainly because either I'm working with them or I just I don't want to get the wrong influences, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, with that said, you said how you found the original sort of crew for Journey of the Spark. How do you find and recruit people? Because I know you've actually recruited a couple of my editing buddies, My Little Visuals and Korean. So how do you like find them and then get into contact with them, recruit them, let them know? What's that sort of process?
Usually they find us. What we do is oftentimes we have a Tumblr that we run, and we're always it's a production blog, so we're always posting things like every day on there about things going on with the production. And normally what people do is that when they want to apply for any of the positions we have open, they can go to send us samples of their work in an email, and they email it to us at our email address, officialsparkmovie@gmail.com. And me, Nicole, Jan, and various other people on the project, we sort through them, and we start picking the ones that are the best. And with people like Visuals and Korean, I don't remember how they came onto the movie.
I think we got Visual. Didn't we get Visuals like around the time like the animatic was released?
I think that was when the animation test, when we released the animation test. I think that's
the
when
animation
we got,
test. Yeah, and then we got
Visuals,
we got Korean like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
because Visuals referred Korean over to us. Oftentimes other people working on the project will refer us to other people, and then it kind of goes in a cycle like that. It's like friends telling friends, oh yeah, I'm working on this project. It's really cool, so you should come and work with me, and then we'll be one happy family kind of thing.
Which we
I mean, yeah, that's I'm in the group where Visuals told pretty much all of us about this Journey of the Spark, and he basically, and Kareem was really interested in it. So it is the word of mouth kind of thing that got Korean interested. I mean, basically the one guideline Visual said is you have to be well experienced in Adobe Adobe After Effects.
We require that people working on the film be very well versed in the programs that they work with, like actually have a lot of experience with with their craft, because initially one of the goals that we all have on the film is not to necessarily make it look like a 2-hour fan-made episode. We want to actually go one step further ahead of every production in the community, and actually make it look like a film. Make it look like you are watching like an official My Little Pony movie playing out before you. So in order for us to achieve that, we have to actually do a lot of visual techniques in order to make it look very cinematic. Like, we have to do a lot of things with the camera, and oftentimes we're working with the people in the art department and the post-production team, as well as the animators, to essentially get that style. And so with visual effects people, like visuals in Korean, they play one of the most important parts in the production, and that's actually getting the visual look that we need, because they are the ones who are applying visual effects such as light rays and rain and smoke and fog.
Faroken. Yeah.
Slip of the tongue there, but yeah, they do a lot of work like that. It's very. I wouldn't necessarily say that the movie is visual effects heavy for the wrong reasons, because I mean, in order for us to get the visual style that we want to, it's kind of necessary. And, you know, other than those visual details, they're also the ones adding the magic effects for the unicorns, as well as, you know, some of Rainbow Dash's light trails, like you usually see in episodes and things like that. So they have a very important job on the production, as well as the countless other people working on it. I mean, everybody has a very important job on the production, and they all do amazing work on the film. Their stuff is amazing, just from every single department.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, good pickup getting Korean visuals, because they're really good with After Effects. Their experience with that is just amazing, and they'll be brilliant in production with it. So, in your eyes, how productive do you think the team has been from the start of the project up until today?
Okay, this is a little difficult for me to really describe.
Yeah.
It's really difficult for me to say, but I mean, we've been productive, but the thing is, though, is that this is a completely non-profit production, so it's like, you know, a lot of the people working on this are basically doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. They're not getting paid for it or anything like that. They're not getting, you know, compensation for their work. So oftentimes when a project like that is going on, you know, the project is going to fall in and out every now and then. I mean, like, it's never going to keep one consistent thing going. And, you know, the thing is that with any sort of production like this, when you're not getting paid for it, a lot of people are going to have the mindset that, you know, because they're not getting paid for their work, they have just about as much creative freedom as you do. When in the director's eye, or even in the producer's eye, you know, in the producer's eye, that's normally not the case. But the thing is that I'm open with my artists having as much creative freedom as I can, because, hey, they're doing me a big favor. I mean, they're visually telling the story that I've really wanted to tell for almost a year now, so I gotta give them credit where credit is due. But, you know, oftentimes that sort of creative freedom really leads to a lot of conflict with a lot of people, and oftentimes we just kind of need to take a break, you know, just for a breather, because a lot of people, they're stressed, and sometimes animosity comes amongst the team. But no, for what we've managed to achieve and what we've managed to do for like the past 6 months now, you know, considering the fact that we've managed to not only storyboard a full scene, as well as do an animation test and get the entire script written, as well as the entire thing cast, managing to do that in less than half a year is incredible progress, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've once again, like, bringing back visuals in Korean for not being paid at all. For not being paid at all, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't be excited if I wasn't being paid at all. They're not being paid anything, but they're really excited to be on this, and I think it's just to be able to be part of this project is just a really exciting thing for a lot of people that would be more than happy to do it. But like as you said, other priorities do come up, and when it's a non-profit project, other things will come up, and they will take priority over.
Especially when people have to do commissions, or as currently on the live stream chat, the voice actress of Rarity, as well as Princess Luna, and our lead concept artist Sarah Williams. She's in the chat right now, but she said oftentimes because people are still in college and in school, exams and schoolwork often just completely overtake a lot of people, especially myself. I mean, I'm still in college, and school comes up a lot, and oftentimes, again, school is a huge priority. I mean, so we can't always expect people to be constantly working on this, but it's incredibly insane just how many people have been working on this as much as they have. It goes to show their dedication. I mean, Nicole's basically on the production almost every day.
Well, it's because I have no work to do. It's not much.
Yeah.
No, but you're still doing important things. You're still doing important things. You're an executive producer, and executive producers are often involved with a lot of the creative aspects of the production, to say the least.
Which I do. So
yes.
I guess.
Yeah, well.
I guess I'm doing a dandy job.
Yeah, I mean, exams and everything, other priorities do come up, and this would be the time for me to tell to everyone in our live stream chat. After this last question, we will be taking questions from the live stream chat, the viewers. So get your questions ready, have them in bold, and I will read probably all of them out. Depending on how time goes, but I will read a fair few of them out, type them in bold, get ready. I've got one more question, then we'll move to the live stream questions.
Okay, can I just say that if anyone asks if Gummy's in the movie, I will instantly kick you.
Absolutely.
We've gotten questions like that. We've gotten questions like that on our Tumblr. It's ridiculous sometimes the questions we get. And my mom is calling me on my phone. Give me a sec. I will go on mute really quickly.
Alright, well, I'll let Nicole answer this question first then. So once Journey of the Spark is finished and it's all done and it's been received by everyone, what kind of things do you want to do after? Do you want to maybe make a sequel if it's well received enough, or?
I don't think like Journey of the Spark could be fit enough for a sequel. Perhaps. I mean, it doesn't deserve one. It doesn't feel as though it needs one to say it's just a good standalone film. But we are, as Celestial Spark Studios, planning on doing a little more productions. At least one more pony-related one. But yeah, we are planning on some things.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I mean, if you don't want to make a sequel, that's fine, but one more pony production should be cool. This pony production, will it be like a movie kind of production, or would it be more towards an episode?
Okay, sorry about that. I'm back. What were we talking about?
He's asking us, like, once Journey of the Spark is done for, would we be considering other projects, like a sequel or some other original movies?
Yeah. I have other pony projects I'm doing as Journey of the Spark is going on. If Journey of the Spark is successful, I might make one more pony movie before moving on to something else and going off with my career. I know that I don't want to make a sequel at all to Journey of the Spark, simply because the story is way too personal to me. It's a very personal story, and it's a very personal project, and I wouldn't want to ruin a lot of the substance that the story has with it. Mainly because a lot of the elements of the script and the story came from a lot of personal experiences with my life because I have Asperger's syndrome, and I've dealt with a lot of conflict and social awkwardness and anxiety a lot of my life, and a lot of those things are things that I'm still trying to overcome even in my life today. And Journey of the Spark is essentially my way of writing a story that can relate to many people on an emotional resonance and level. And I feel as though if I were to make a sequel or write a story to that, then I just think that would just take a lot of the magic away from Journey of the Spark, and the reason why I wanted to make it in the first place.
Yep, that's completely fair. I was asking this question just as you came back. These other projects that aren't related to Journey of the Spark, they're not movies, or are they episodes, or can you give us the details?
One project I'm currently writing is there's a few things. One is pony related, and the other isn't. Alongside working on more episodes of My Little Pony: The Brony Edition, I'm currently writing a short audio drama series. It's a comedy show called Livin' in Las Pegasus, and that's it's basically almost like a regular show type of series that involves Lyra and Vinyl Scratch living together in Las Pegasus as roommates, and oftentimes getting into the strangest situations and almost some of the most mundane situations, and it gets a lot of humor out of that. And that's being voiced by Sarah Williams again. She's going to be voicing Lyra, and Vinyl Scratch is being voiced by Irina Chan. And I'm writing the first 2 episodes of that. One of them is a pilot, and then another is a more serious episode. And then me and Nicole, we're currently working on a parody/abridged series for the Littlest Pet Shop cartoon on the Hub right now. We're co-writing and directing that together. And so far, from the ideas that we've been coming up with, I think it's going to be pretty damn please.
If we do end up writing.
Yeah, if we do. We haven't been able to get a good day to write for it, but yeah, that's what we've been working on at the moment.
Okay, great. So, to live stream viewers, this is the time where you start asking your questions. I'm gonna ask one more question. I'm gonna ask one more question while the live stream questions start rolling in. So, what's your dream result for this project? What's like the absolute best case scenario for you guys?
It becomes a huge hit.
Yeah, it's successful, and I'm imagining something of this caliber could be good on our resumes.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We both want to go out into the movie industry, and I think this Journey of the Spark is going to help us out in our first ever movie like this. So, yeah.
Obviously we're doing something right, because Journey of the Spark has the approval of Lauren Faust herself. She very much supports the project, and she really wants to see it. And many people in the community have been supporting this project too. Double Rainboom has our support. They love the idea of the film, and countless, celebrities in the community really want to see this happen. A lot of people really want to see it get made, and because, the last movie that tried to get off the ground, Project Saturation, drama and conflict ultimately led it to its demise, and that's a shame, because a lot of people were looking forward to it. But regardless of what conflict goes on within the production of Journey of the Spark, it's never going to fade away. It's always going to be in production, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to try my damnedest Like, I'm literally saying this right now. I'm going to try with all of my power to make sure that Journey of the Spark makes it to the big screen. And, you know, because it's a very deep, it's a very personal story, it's a very resonant one, and, you know, I just wanted to make a movie that, you know, kids of this generation could essentially relate to. Because oftentimes you see it in way too many animated films nowadays where, you know, the films aren't taking their child audience seriously. They're often talking down to them by giving them the least common denominator in terms of quality. And I always said to myself, because I grew up on films that treated me like I was an adult, and I always told myself that I want to make a film, you know, or make movies that kids nowadays, even if they don't get the ideas of the themes, can look back on in the future and appreciate it for its values and introduce it to more generations as they come, and teach them a little bit something more about themselves that they never really looked at before, and often and offer people a sort of emotional resonance that makes them, you know, sort of question, you know, well, not really question, but sort of look at the much brighter side of humanity and really learn something, you know, about who we are as people and what our place in life is. And that's what I'm hoping that Journey of the Spark will do. I mean, it's a very, you know, very ambitious project. It's a very ambitious film in itself, you know, considering what we're trying to do with it. But, you know, I don't give two shits what anybody says. We're not going to stop working on this movie until it's seen in a theater with an audience, and, you know, people get to see it all the way through.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's say you said holiday 2014 is when it's coming out. Is that the absolute latest date it's going to come out, or is that the... Like, what's holiday 2014? Is that the deadline you're working on? Is that the latest? Is there any chance it would come out earlier, or...
There's a chance it could come out. There's a chance it could come out earlier if we get enough people to work on the project. If we get if we get as big of a as big of a team as we can get, you know, that requires, you know, like that we're required to have, so that way we can actually get it. We can see ourselves getting the film out by summer 2014 or holiday 2013, depending on, you know, if we get enough people. But the latest I can see it coming out is possibly spring 2015 or summer 2015. I might, depending on how things go, I might push it back to summer 2015 in time for the big conventions, so that way we can go on a big tour and take the film with us and screen it for bronies all over the world who are really looking forward to it. But holiday 2014 currently at the moment is just a tentative release date. It's not official, but that's what we're aiming for anyway.
Alright, so I've got one more question. I'm sorry, live stream, I keep cheating you, but you said you used a lot of Disney movies as your inspiration, and you really enjoyed growing up with the movies that took you seriously as a kid. What's your dream company to work at? Would you say Disney or DreamWorks, or?
We want to start our own.
Yeah, I want to start my own studio, but my own animation studio. But this is gonna sound really geeky of me, but if I wanted to work at any animation studio, I want to work at Studio Ghibli.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea what that is. Sorry.
Studio Ghibli, they're the studio that Hayao Miyazaki is usually associated with. The guy who made Princess Mononoke and Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, Castle in the Sky, Nausicaa, all of those. They're all amazing films, but I love that studio to death. Their movies are absolutely amazing, and I would love to work at that studio. But I doubt they take an American guy working at their studio. Considering they're all the way in Japan, but no, but I'm Eric Ridenauer. That's who I am.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the exact problem that Jan Animate. I don't even know if it's Jan or Jan anymore. I'm just gonna say Jan. Jan Animations, Us and Crusaders guy. He really wants to be hired at DHX, but he's in Italy, so the problem with him is getting a visa. It's that the main problem you see with working at, working on movies like Howl's Moving Castle, which is all the way in Japan.
Yeah. But I mean, having gotten to tour the Disney Animation Studios privately 6 years back, I'd love to work at Disney, or I'd love to work on a Disney film at some point in my life. I'm a very Disney person, to say the least.
He is.
Yeah. Oftentimes,
he is such a Disney geek. He has like an annual pass to Disneyland because he lives 30 minutes away from it.
Yeah, I go there all the time. Because I live in California, in Southern California, so I'm very close to the industry and to a lot of the places that I really want to work, and things like that. But I would love to work at Disney. If not, I would love to work at my favorite movie studio as a whole. I would love to work at Universal Studios. I've always wanted to work at Universal Studios. I love Universal so much.
Awesome. Alright, so I do have more questions, but I'm going to stop cheating the live stream. We have one live stream question this time.
Good job.
Yeah, well done, live stream. You did your best. We'll give you, I don't know, a green medal or something. But AE the Pony asks, with such a long production schedule, are you concerned that perhaps the fanbase will lose interest, particularly if MLP FIM doesn't get a 4th season?
No. Honestly, I don't really care if the fan base is starting to is starting to wade or not, because I mean, if the film is of really high quality, then that will inspire people who have never given the show a chance, who have never seen it before. It might get them interested, and it might want to inspire them to go, see the show again. And it could, essentially, it'll immortalize the quality of the original show, and it'll get people invested in it again. And I think, if it's really, really successful, it can renew interest in the show and in the fandom, because because the things of great quality often take a long time to get made. But I know that just from what we've shown people and what we've told people, especially Lauren, a lot of people have essentially told us they're willing to wait as long as they honestly need to in order to see this be made, and in order for it to be as high of quality as possible, because they want a high quality product. And I'm all about quality over quantity, essentially. So I know that there's already people who are really huge fans of the film that are waiting, that are eager to see it, but are willing to wait as long as they need to, and that means a lot to us, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I've nothing to say. I mean, if MLP does get cancelled, and I mean, when MLP drops off around the 4th season, I probably will drop off the fan base. I'll go back to editing other things, but that's not going to stop the fact that I really do like the show, and I'll definitely come back to I'll definitely come back to watch Journey of the Spark when it comes out, regardless of whether MLP is ended or anything, because it doesn't really need the show to be a good movie. I mean,
no, and that's what I always wanted to do. I mean, that was one of my biggest goals, is that, you know, I want it to be a film. I don't want it to be a fan work, you know, and really the best way to do that was to tell a story that could essentially stand out on its own, you know, that could introduce the characters, the setting, and the mythology without having people who have never seen the show before to get emotionally invested with the story. And so, you know, really, when you go into Journey of the Spark, I don't think you really have to watch the show to really enjoy it. I mean, there's of course references and nods to previous seasons of the show, but you know, fans are going to be able to get that. But you know, they don't overflow the story, or they don't, you know, disrupt the narrative and things like that. They're there because, you know, hey, it's a movie based on My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, so you know, there has to be something for fans, for them to enjoy. But you know, it's all about the story, you know.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. All right, so
I mean, you see, the Star Trek fandom is still raging on. They have conventions for that and everything. Even when the show's been canceled for years, so
yeah,
it's much going to be the same for MLP.
And the same thing goes for Disney. I mean, Disney's been around for well over for an entire legacy. I mean, 75 plus years. I mean, they've been making films, and you know, it's a property that will constantly keep going. I mean, My Little Pony will still be around, you know, so long as there are people willing to support the brand. I mean, it's just those things that will, you know, continue to go on because they have a legacy, and you know, they'll continue to do new things with them, and they'll continue to take more risks with those types of things. And I feel as though with you know, and I feel as though even after even if, you know, the fan base starts losing interest, you know, something like Journey of the Spark, I think that'll actually reignite, you know, to be a little literal here, reignite the spark, to say the least.
God damn you, Eric. That was just too much. I was about to make the joke too, so I shouldn't be talking.
Well, you know, yeah. So that pretty much does it for viewer questions. Once again, you tried live stream, have a gold star, I don't know, but I have a couple more questions. Oh no, here we go. Actually, no, sorry, scratch that. Sorry, we can't really. No. If you guys had to work on, say, one animation, what's one current animated film that's come out, what would have been your favorite to have worked on?
Rise of the Guardians. I would have loved to have worked on that.
Awesome.
I can't imagine anything.
Love that. TV show, beyond My Little Pony, I would love to work on Gravity Falls.
Yeah,
personally.
definitely.
Oh
I would love to work on Gravity Falls.
I can imagine the vibe of Gravity Falls, just the whole team over there. I can just imagine it being a really, really good group of people working on the show. It'd be a great time. Everyone be everyone be really friendly with each other. Gravity Falls kind of, for some reason, it doesn't come off as that sort of professional to me. It's a really well done project from a group of people that seems like they'd be friends.
Yeah, I do know a lot of the people that worked on the show, like Alex Hirsch. I've watched a few of his shows in the past, and yeah, it seems like with Gravity Falls, they actually put a lot of care and effort that the team has into the show itself, and that's what I like about it. I mean, it's pretty much, it is exactly funny. I mean, it's not trying to go for any jokes. It actually achieves its goal. And it's a good one.
Definitely. I'm right on board with you. It feels like they really do love the show. They're not just there to do a job. They really enjoy what they work on.
Mm-hmm.
They really enjoy making the show. They really enjoy watching the show. Enjoy it all. But yeah, I think that about does it for questions. This is more of a topic. Have you guys seen Wreck-It Ralph yet?
Yes.
I have 3 times.
3 times. Very nice.
I've
seen it twice. I've seen it twice. I love Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh god.
Such an amazing movie. Love that movie.
Good
to death.
movie. Yes. Oh. Fix It Felix Jr. gives me the honey glows in my cheeks. Something awful. But that's just my fangirl self talking.
No, oftentimes just randomly, like with some of my female friends, oftentimes I'll just like walk up to them and just go, "I think you're a dynamite gal."
Oh my
God, you. God.
No, but I've been wanting to see. I've seen Wreck-It Ralph twice. I've been wanting to see Skyfall, because again, I'm a huge James. No, I haven't seen Skyfall yet, but because I just barely got into James Bond. Sci-Fi during Thanksgiving break was having a James Bond marathon. I was over at my dad's, and I was just like, well, I have nothing better to do. I haven't seen a James Bond movie the whole way through, and I just started marathoning that stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm such a fan now. I need to go see Skyfall. You know, so I was fanboying, like, you know, just over James Bond, and I really, really want to go see Skyfall, because I've been loving a lot of the movies in that franchise that I've been seeing so far. So I'm really excited when I finally get the chance to go and see that. I'm seeing The Hobbit tomorrow. Seeing that, so I'm really looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah, have you had the ending spoiled for Skyfall yet? I'm not going to spoil it now, but have you?
Nope.
That's... Congratulations to you, because that ending has been everywhere. I mean, pretty much a tabloid in England, I can't remember the name of it, it was The Sun. The Sun basically plastered the ending on their front page. They ruined the ending for about, probably, what, 5 million British people? So,
okay,
you know, they're assholes, but that ending has been everywhere. I mean, because they had an early screening for reviewers, and the release dates for Skyfall have just been all over the place. I mean, it released in Europe about, I think it was late October, and it
was in October, because obviously the franchise is really big in the UK, because that's where the origins of the character come from. Is in the United Kingdom, so obviously they get it earlier than we do, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking it up now. It released October 23. That was its initial release. It released about November 16 in Australia. So it was everywhere. It pretty much it had passed the 2-week spoiler. It passed the 2-week spoiler line for Australians. So it was all over the internet. I actually had the ending spoiled for me, but I'd still enjoyed the movie. But I mean, was that really a good idea to?
Well, I don't know. I'm not British.
On the live stream, I saw Sarah's concept of Rainbow Dash sitting on a cloud.
I see it.
Yeah, that was actually a concept. That was a piece of concept art from Journey of the Spark that was on the live stream. It just passed by, but I thought that was funny.
Well, you know, I missed it, but yeah, Skyfall's a good movie. Don't hype it up too much, because a lot of the people who haven't enjoyed it have said it's because people have hyped it up to be this amazing, absolutely brilliant movie that's, you know, movie of the decade.
Well, I mean, I never hype myself up, you know, when I go into the theater. I mean, I hype myself up beforehand, but once I step into the theater, it's just like, okay, ignore your preconceptions and just you know, go in with an open mind, and you'll enjoy it a lot more. That's what I've always done when I go to a movie. No, but I think the only thing from Skyfall that I've initially, you know, have seen and or heard is just the song by Adele. That's the only thing I like Skyfall related that I've listened to. But I can't wait to go see it. Again, also looking forward to The Hobbit. Looking forward to that one. And man, there's I go to the movies way too much, way too much.
I don't go enough.
I think I've only gone to the theater like 3 times this year. And then you go all the time.
I think I've gone less than 3 times. It's disgraceful because I have such a good time when I go. I've gone 3 times. I've seen Paranormal Activity 4, which is just a blast to see in the theaters. It would have been crap to see at home, but it's hilarious in the theaters. People are yelling throughout the thing. It's not, you don't go to it for the story, you go to it for having fun, being scared with tons of other people. People are screaming, people are having a great time in Paranormal
for the
Activity.
audience reaction.
Oh yeah, definitely. It would have been awful. Like if I was at home for Paranormal Activity 4, I just would have been criticizing the storyline and how pretty much poorly done it was.
I think I've done that 3 times already. I don't think I need to do it a 4th.
Does the ending still scare the shit out of you? Because I swear I jump every time Kate or whatever her name is screams through the door. It gets me every time. I swear she comes just a little bit earlier every single time I watch it.
For what part? Wait, what? Who?
Paranormal Activity 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never seen any of the Paranormal Activity movies. I've never had the desire to.
1 and 2 are good.
Good. I mean,
Three's
I don't.
kinda average.
I'm indifferent to them.
I don't think they're good to see by yourself. Like as Nicole said, you go for the audience reactions. It's more of a group activity. Yeah, they're okay.
No, and I can understand like the audience reaction thing. Like, when I took a friend with me to go see the prequel to John Carpenter's The Thing, because I'm a huge fan of the original. That with John Carpenter's The Thing being my favorite horror movie of all time. And I took him to go see it with me because I told him, dude, you're going to have a lot of fun watching this. It's probably not going to be all that great, but I can tell that this movie is going to be a movie that you want to watch with friends. And we had a blast watching it. Yeah, the movie was mediocre at best, but watching it on my own, because I understand that it has flaws, but when you're watching it with friends, oh man, it is great. Great watching a movie like that, because it's a monster movie, basically. You know, watching a monster movie with friends is always a lot of fun. At least that's how I see it anyway. Don't know if that completely applies to everybody.
Yeah, well, I don't have any fun seeing horror movies by myself. Because more or less horror movies nowadays have crappy storylines and
No, I mean, of course they do. Of course they do. I completely agree with you on that for front. I just kind of want to make a joke, though. I thought for a second you were saying, well, I don't have any fun seeing horror movies because I don't have friends.
No.
I despise horror films.
I mean, basically horror movies nowadays are basically jump scares now. It's just loud screeching monsters just jumping out.
I could just imagine like, because apparently they said like with like, you know, the new reboots or what have you, you know, it's like when they're gonna have a monster that's gonna come up, you know, right? I mean, like, these jump scares are getting more and more ridiculous. Like, I just imagine the next horror movie that I go and see, the next thing is going to be just a monster, you know, popping up in front of this one scared chick, just going, loud noises!
Steve Carell.
Yeah, like that.
I think that's something I would like to do with my career. That would be great.
Jump up in front of scared women and shout loud noises.
Just don't end up like that one monster on YouTube that got punched in the face by the black guy.
I remember that. I remember that. That was great.
Yeah, but horror movies aren't that fun to see by yourself, but jump scares with friends are hilarious. Especially when you're the one that jumps less. That makes it way funnier.
Yeah, when you're not that scared, and when you know when things are coming up, and you know people who have never seen the movie before, you know, they get like a much more terrified reaction out of it. I remember I did that with David Cronenberg's The Fly, and God, the ending to that movie, so gory, but man, it is so emotional and so well done. But I was the only person who knew what was coming up. So when I showed that to my friends at my house one night, they were just like, "Jesus Christ, what is this?" You know, they had an amazing reaction, and I was like, "Yes, I'm so glad we decided to watch this." Like, it was so gory. One of my friends was like, "I am never watching this movie again. I want to go and barf." It was, oh man, it was amazing.
Yeah, you should always bring Wilson to the movies. Any movie.
And I host movie live streams on my own live stream sometimes. I like to call it movie nights, so people get to watch movies with me and react. So it's awesome.
Those are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Those have spawned a lot of inside jokes.
Yeah.
You know what, Eric? Eric, you need to get her a Sparkly. You need to get her a Sparkly. Get her a Sparkly.
Really, Nicole? Really?
Yeah.
You had to bring it up on this interview. That's wonderful. It's an inside joke. Don't pay it any mind. Don't pay it any mind.
That's alright, live stream. You wouldn't understand it anyway.
Nobody would.
But I mean, I'm glad that I'm pretty much the toughest one out of my friends when it comes to jump scares and horror movies, because I pretty much scarred myself at a young age. Like, when I was about between the ages of 7 and 10 years old, I was just obsessed with horror movies, and that was when I was at my weakest. I couldn't handle, like, anything. I couldn't handle, like, pretty much thrillers were too much for me.
Cause this is Thriller.
Yeah, Thriller. That movie clip was too much for me. Yeah.
No, I when I was a kid, I marathoned every Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Like, in the entire... I marathoned all of them. And I became obsessed with Freddy Krueger. Became obsessed with the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Which is why I was kind of looking forward to Sleepless in Ponyville. Because, you know, that was going to involve Scootaloo having nightmares, so I was just going to keep thinking, I hope they have a Nightmare on Elm Street reference with this. They better have a Nightmare on Elm Street reference. I was like, they better! They better!
They kind of do. They kind of did.
They kind of did, but not really.
If Luna was wearing the classic jumper, that would have been amazing.
Yeah. Luna was more like Slender Man than Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, she was sort of just chilling.
Just walking through the
I don't know. I kind of got like Jason Voorhees / Freddy Krueger vibe from the one pony who was like, "Who wears my rusty horseshoe?" You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of that. I kind of got a vibe from that, but more of like Jason's mom from like Friday the 13th rather than Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. That was kind of something. That was kind of the vibe that I got from it anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I has no arguments. But I think that just about does it for the stream. We've discussed the movie, we've discussed the episode, and we've discussed movies, so we've discussed more movies.
It all comes full circle.
The entertainment industry. But yeah, I think that about does it. I'd like to thank all our live stream viewers for coming down. And I'd like to thank Nicole and Eric for coming on to talk about Journey the Spark. Thank you guys for coming on. It's been fun.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no problem.
And that will do it for the episode. Goodbye, everybody. Hopefully next week we will have Ragin, Cinnamon, and Nick all in a quick full circle with our actual cast back. But